Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, so you know what that means. What? Another episode of the Celebrity Crash Report. Yes, our world may be burning and all this weird stuff is going on and the elites get away with everything. But you know what? Hollywood is still Hollywood. And they are just keeping me busy. Like this fool right here, old Tyra Banks. Now, this one thought that she could participate in the America's Next Top Model documentary and just kind of get away with everything. So what does she do? She slaps on a trench coat, nothing else. I mean, my mother always used to say, beware of men in trench coats because they just want to show you their ding-dong. Well, I say now after watching this, beware of women in trench coats and nothing else because anyway, she goes on and she just tries to say, oh, it was a sign of the times. It's just things were different back then. And to that I say, no, Tyra, no. Being a stone cold you-know-what has always been the same. And that is exactly what you were, girl. In fact, you have all the other contestants coming out and saying, you were horrible to them. You traumatized them. You have the judges saying that you used them and never spoke to them again after they made your show a hit and you beep, see you later. Yeah, good friend, good girl. Yeah, that's the kind of girl you really want to help support. And this is why she's doing this. Friends of mine who used to be friends with her, because let's be clear, she don't really have any friends, say that Tyra is just the same old Tyra, and all she's trying to do is promote her weird-ass ice cream called Smize. So, for weird tax and business reasons, because it's cheaper as well, she moved to Australia, and her longtime partner are creating this ice cream, and she's like, it's hot ice cream, which basically means it kind of turns into a hot chocolate-esque kind of thing when you order it hot. The reviews have been fair to middling and horrible. Most people who have tried it and posted on social media are like, yeah, it tastes weird. Why am I doing this? It's not really a huge hit in Australia. That's okay, because Tyra wants to bring it to the States. Yes, she wants to torment us all. Not just with her bad, nasty attitude, but with her nasty old ice cream. However, she was supposed to open in D.C. last year, and the place that she signed the lease on ended up suing her. She's suing them back, whatever. The whole point is there ain't no place in D.C., and there is no place in New York as of yet. Now, she's done some pop-ups, but, nothing yet. I say go with God, Tyra, and perhaps before joining another documentary and blaming everyone else besides yourself, despite the fact that you were the executive producer on the show, you were the star and your company produced the show, I don't know, maybe take a good hard look at yourself and wonder, it can't just be everyone, huh? Maybe it's, I don't know, me. That's right. Now we've got Pink. God, I love her so much. I do. And I also love that she called out People Magazine and Us Weekly, who are usually, people are like, they're always right. They're not. So they had come out and said that, Pink and her husband of 20 years, Carrie Hart, were separated and divorcing and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I love her. She took to Instagram and said this.
Hi, everybody. Oops, I left my refrigerator open. On my way to a beer. So I was just alerted to the fact that I'm separated from my husband. I didn't know. Thank you, People Magazine. Thank you, Us Weekly. Thank you for letting me know. I was wondering, would you also like to tell our children? My 14-year-old and 9-year-old are also unaware. Or do you want to talk about some real news? Do you want to talk about the Epstein files? Do you want to talk about systemic racism or misogyny in sports, or how classy the women's hockey team is, or how 8 of the 12 medals won in the Olympics this year for the U.S. were won by women? Or do you maybe want to talk about the fact that I got nominated the first year I was eligible for the Rock and Roll Motherfucking Hall of Fame? Do you want to talk about my accomplishments, or do you only want to talk about my supposed demise? So, fake news, not true. I fucking hate that term. I love you all. Go with God, and trash news, you can do better. Night, night.
All right, so after she put out that video, guess what? She's been in New York solo because, yep, you got it. She may be taking over for Kelly Clarkson. I put that out in another video earlier today, so you can check that out, but I am all for it. I would really like a strong, cool, smart woman to do an actual show on daytime TV. Can you imagine, instead of like the usual hoo-haws they have? No, thank you. All right, next up we got Anderson Cooper. Oh boy. It's hard when you're like, you take a stand and then it blows up in your face, right? So earlier this week, he came out and said he's not going to do 60 Minutes anymore. He's breaking ties with CBS because, and I quote, he wants to spend more time with his two young sons. That sounds great, right? But the behind the scenes was actually, he doesn't like where CBS is going. He doesn't like their new owners, Paramount, and he certainly doesn't like the editor-in-chief, Barry Weiss, who, by the way, he had a great story looking into white farmers in South Africa because, you know, Trump gave white farmers refugee status, which is so odd, and he looked into the claim that Elon Musk and Trump had said that white farmers were being attacked, they needed refugee status, blah, blah, blah. Turns out it ain't true. Turns out Barry Weiss, his new boss, didn't want to put it on air because, you know, she's friends with Trump, and also because Paramount is trying to do some more deals. We'll get into that in a second. And once you got a deal in front of the FCC, you can't be talking about Trump or he's going to kill it. So Anderson Cooper was like, yep, see you later, toot toot, bye. Well, guess what? This week it was announced Netflix is not going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, which owns CNN, Anderson's home, where he actually works all the time. And instead, guess who's going to buy it? Paramount. So his new boss is still going to be Barry Weiss. Go with God, Cooper. I mean, I don't think she's going to forget that slight. You know what I mean? No, sir. Oh, then we come to these fools. God bless them. Harry and Meghan headed to the Middle East. Because that's what you do when, you know, all your shows with Netflix doesn't work out, Spotify doesn't want you, no one wants you. You know who will want you? The UN and World Health Organization. So they decided to go over to Jordan and really highlight the children of Gaza. Okay, let me get into this. Because, number one, the World Health Organization has a few issues. This all goes back to the October 7th war, which Hamas started when they broke into Israel, raped, murdered, and kidnapped Israelis. And Israelis tried to get it back. Here's the problem. Hamas was operating out of hospitals and daycares and schools. The World Health Organization was very quick to say, oh, it's a genocide. They did not, until recently, come out and admit that Hamas was working out of hospitals. Then you also have UNRWA, UNRWA, the Refugee for Palestine arm of the UN, which Harry and Meghan also met with. They had 11 people fired because 11 people, up to 19, actually participated in the rape, murder, and kidnapping of Israelis on October 7th. Great job, Harry and Meghan. Now, they said it wasn't political. They said they wanted to just bring light to the children because, of course, that's what they do. They do disaster tourism. Remember when the fires in the Palisades happened? They came down for no reason. They also went to Uvalde for no reason, just to make themselves look good. So there they are in Jordan, and the actual royal family of Jordan was like, yep, no, They ignored them. They had other things to do. But you know who didn't? The ambassador, the British ambassador to Jordan, came out and thanked them for coming. And this is also seen in England, just so you know. The Labour Party, which is in charge in England, has been very pro-Palestine, very anti-Israel. And it looks as if Harry and Meghan, who have been kind of humping Labour's leg to get their security back, kind of seems like they're doing Labour's bidding. It's not a good look. You know what else wasn't a good look? Harry's face. This guy could not have looked more miserable the entire time. I think they had 2 snaps of him going, like a weird smile. You know who did look happy? Meghan. Back in the spotlight. All the paparazzi. She thinks she's got it underhand now. This is what they're going to do. It's so weird. You know who else was with them? James Holt, who left Archewell when it shut down. He moved back to England. He's still consulting and doing these quasi-royal tours. Yeah. Which also is making William tear what little hair he has left out, because they're setting up a shadow court in London for when they think they will get the security. Now, I don't think they have it yet, because you know that leaky teapot would have announced it all over, and they would have stopped in England on the way back. So we'll see. Meanwhile, it's also making Charles look weak. The royal family is in a hell of a time right now. It is the biggest threat to their existence ever in the last 200, 300 years. You know, Andrew's going down. There's more stuff that's going to come out. People are wondering what King Charles knew, when he knew it, because we know he knew a lot. And yet he's going to allow his son, Harry, to do whatever the hell he wants. And there's talk of him maybe, you know, going to Invictus with Harry. And you're like, dude, get your house in order. You need to knock off the titles for the errant royals doing whatever they want, and also making money off of your name, which is exactly what Andrew did, which is exactly what Harry and Meghan are doing with their royal ties. They are still trying to shill us fruit spread. I was about to say jam, but no, fruit spread and booze. Yay. Right. Don't forget the flour sprinkles. Charles, you gotta do something, man. This is getting out of control. This is only the first of several quasi-royal tours they are planning to take this year. And God, let's hope the next ones aren't political, because, that's a minefield. Especially since I reported last year, exclusively, I might add, that Harry and Meghan's charity, Archewell, had given $50,000 to a charity run by a woman who is proudly anti-Israel and an anti-Semite. So, geez, guys, your colors are showing. Just throwing it out there. Okay, now, meanwhile, we also have another royal popping up. Fergie has left the Middle East. Finally. I mean, you can only crash on someone's couch for so long. Don't you know what I'm saying? It's like house guests. They're like fish. They start to smell and get old after 3 days. She stayed, as I reported before, stayed for a month for free in the world's most expensive wellness spa. Then she went to Qatar to hang out with her daughter during Art Basel Qatar. And then she was in the Middle East, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, where they love erstwhile royals. And now, apparently, she is in Ireland at, wait for it, another wellness spa. She is also staying, apparently for free. Again, however, it is her ancestral family home, and it is called Powerscourt Estate in Wicklow, Ireland. And nearby, there's a spa that she's been going to, because you know what? When the world finally sees you for the piece of poo you are, what does one do? They go to a spa and get free treatments, because she ain't got no cash. So, wonder who's paying for that. Then, of course, we've got, finally, Alyssa Milano, who, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of Alyssa Milano. However, she did do something this week, and it's kind of like a broken clock is right twice a day. And she wrote a piece on her Substack basically slamming all these people for coming after James Vanderbeek's family and Eric Dane's family. So what they do, the two actors obviously died young and tragically this month. And guess what? Just because you're famous, don't mean you're rich. Vanderbeek's family had to do a GoFundMe. Vanderbeek's friends, right before he died, coughed up enough money for a down payment for James and his family to buy the small ranch that they live on outside of Austin. However, there's no money. SAG-AFTRA benefits are kind of great, but when you have cancer, a lot of it's out of pocket. And he hadn't been working as much. Same with Eric Dane. So friends and family set up GoFundMes. They raised some money. And a lot of people were angry. They're like, stop grifting. And guess what? It's not grifting. It's not. It's an expression of love for people who are actually in financial need. So I will say this. Thank you, Alyssa Milano. Now, you guys might want to record that because it's probably not going to happen too often. But she's right. Absolutely right. And that, my friends, is this week's episode of the Celebrity Crash Report. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe. Go on my Substack, The Inside Scoop, and you will get everything, all the exclusives first. You're going to love it. Take care.